So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the 1769th day of uninterrupted webinar session of IFPH. And I ask you all to start the session with the silent prayer. Thank you all. Today's guest is Dr. Prakash Rao, PhD, retired research officer, CCRH, Government of India. He's having more than 30 years of experience at CCRH and done projects with UNICEF and AIDS Control Society. And now he is here to present on the topic of genus epidemicus. I welcome you, Dr. Prakash Rao, sir, and the mic is yours. You can take up to 50 minutes for your presentation, and you please allot last 10 minutes for the discussion. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good evening to everybody. Can you see my slides, sir? Dhanesh, sir, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. We can see, sir.
Ram Pravesh Shah ji, namaskar. Sir, today my topic is genus epidemicus. This is a very small topic. You all are experienced persons. Can you hear me, sir?
Everything fine, sir. Everything fine.
Okay. You are all experienced persons, so you know what is genus epidemicus. Now, around 5 years back, we had a COVID effect. There, the arsenicum 30 has been announced as genus epidemicus. Now, previously, in our organon of medicine, Dr. Hahnemann, his dream, his assumptions, and his concepts are highly modern. Some of them are too modern that even modern scientific people are understanding nowadays. So, in that genus epidemic is one thing. In this genus epidemicus, previously the gadgets, the technological inventions, the genetic studies, when the homeopathy was invented, was not present. But nowadays, we have every gadget to test everything so that we can produce a genus epidemicus highly scientifically in a better way than allopathic or the modern scientific development. Or we can take the help of modern science itself, and we are in competition with modern doctors, that is allopathic doctors, to compete with the prevention and arrest of epidemics. So it is a complicated immunological modulation. The word genus epidemicus in those days in the organon around 5 to 6 aphorisms, and everybody followed very strictly. But the science behind this word is so big that one lifetime is sufficient only to take up this topic. In the sense, you know very well, the vaccination against COVID, 5 years are over. Now only the COVID vaccination is successful. So to develop all over the world, all scientists took 5 years time, 2 years time to develop. Then to do studies, they took 5 years. In that, they have taken much time. But whereas in homeopathy, if we apply the same modern principles and if we develop our pharmacology little bit more, and if we give genus epidemicus, we will be more successful than the modern medicine people. All we have to do is we have to apply the modern technology with our existing homeopathy, with the sixth edition of Organon and Hahnemann concepts. So this is that takes, see, for every epidemic we have to produce a genus epidemicus, means we have to understand this. So one lifetime one has to study the total immunology to produce a genus epidemicus. And this is the status of the modern technology. And Hahnemann has covered from genus epidemicus to surgical diseases, then gynecological diseases, neurological diseases, and one-sided diseases that are mental illness. So he was a super specialist, and homeopathy, that's why it stood as alternate system to modern system in those days. In those days, the allopathy was called as the orthodox system of medicine, and because it was very backward as we compared to homeopathy, that's why Hahnemann named the modern system of medicine. Now they are boasting the modern system, which was called as allopathic system. So this is the history behind genus epidemicus. I have written an article, so I made prepared slides out of that article. So in the abstract, the genus epidemicus is a unique homeopathic approach for epidemics, introduced by Dr. Hahnemann, none other else. Many people have written many theories. See, unfortunately, in medical history, as a scientist, as a clinical practitioner, you may accept, but as a scientist, we never accept any person other than Hahnemann, however great he may be, because they never talked with Hahnemann in the way of the invention and the exploration and experiments he did while lighting organon. They may be very good practitioners. We will take them as very good clinicians, but we won't take them as very good researchers like Hahnemann. And they started, if you don't mind, we as a scientist consider that they added something to the organon. They also started teaching new theories to Hahnemann's organon. That means they want to overlap homeopathy and homeopathic theories without doing research. That is the difference. Except repertory, all other authors, all other books, and all other commentaries are nothing but experiences. Like what you, like our Dhanesh, our Dr. Shweta, and everybody, Sahab, Anwar Kumar, everybody, our Manoj, whatever they are developing the experience, they have written the articles and that became textbooks, but they never experimented or any research has been done. I would like to tell you here one extra, apart from the abstract and genus epidemicus, everybody thinks that there is something in foreign countries about homeopathy. The foreign country where the homeopathy has originated, it has kicked back the Hahnemann. And now there is no homeopathy except the statues of Hahnemann in the house of the Hahnemann. In London, the National Health Services have expelled homeopathy. In America, they haven't done anything. In Switzerland, they never gave the any government approval. But here, the homeopathy gurus, they go there, they teach homeopathy to them, and they bring some qualification, and they boast something about here, but it is wrong. And the homeopathic practice, homeopathic approval, homeopathy system that has been approved by the government, that is only the maximum level of development in the total world is present only in India. Then the other 8 countries are Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, South Africa, Mexico, Brazil, particularly Brazil. Apart from these countries, nowhere the homeopathic system is officially recognized, but it is being practiced in 80 countries. So the 80 countries people, apart from this, there are 5 years of courses, professional courses in homeopathy in these 8 countries. And there is also post-graduation PhD course only in South Africa and in India. So now the seat of homeopathy is in India, and the seat of homeopathy is not present in foreign countries. Whoever writes foreign articles, see everybody, I see every person here is a Kent and a Herrings and what you call everybody. But following them is always gives me our teachers, our colleges, our professionalism, everything is extremely very good. See, before 1960, the homeopathy has dominated total India. The genus epidemicus is one of the thing. The cholera is one of the thing which happened in Calcutta, and K.P. Mojumdar was the first person whose name has been introduced in the books of history of the world. That is, the government of India there is one historical research society where his cholera control has been given 18 pages, and after Hahnemann, entering into the history books is only the Majumdar of Calcutta because he controlled the cholera. Then we will come to here the topic. So, because why I'm telling it is a lifetime aspiration and it intervenes, it involves identifying single remedy. See, when the genus epidemicus, when the pandemic comes, we have to give single remedy and collective symptoms of an epidemic. You all know all these things, but each sentence as a scientist, as a clinical practitioner, it attracts me so much that each specific word has to be made a research. And this explores historical basis. I told already methodology, scientific rational, and case applications. Now we are going to study here. So now what is the word that genus epidemicus, homeopathy, organon of medicine, epidemic disease, individualization, immunological response. This immunological response is known as what is the cure and what is the outcome of the cure. So that has been changed, but the individualization is CRISPR medicine, or you call individualized medicine in modern technology. The same individualized concepts have been taken, they have been biochemically tested, the biomarkers have been, all I told in my previous lectures around 3 years back, how the modern technology has copied the organon of medicine for its wonderful aphorisms, particularly the mission of the physician, the individualization, the importance of the case taking, the importance of the single remedy, side effects, bad effects, they all have been copied. Susceptibility, the vital force, they all have been copied from organon of medicine, and their theories, these concepts have been modernized basing upon the organon of medicine, and the total modern health inventions are coming basing upon homeopathic organon of medicine. And this genus epidemic homeopathy, these are those words I told you. Now, the genus epidemicus refers to a single most similar remedy that matches the collective symptoms of an epidemic. Once the genus epidemic here, everybody thinks that it can be used for both prevention and treatment based upon principles of similia similibus curanter. Here we have to follow the word similia similibus curanter. Why this similia similibus curanter has come here? Because similia that causes the disease, similibus that mimics the same. Similia means same. That is, it is not similar. Similia means it looks mimics but not the same. Similibus, it will produce the symptoms of the disease and it cures. This is nothing but immunology, deployment, redeployment, antigen, antibody theory. When the antibodies are being produced because of antigen, we have to create an artificial antigen in the body that should be more stronger than the original antibody, that way which it has to give the support to the antibodies that are being produced by the body, and it has to kill the antigen. That antigen is the maybe insect, maybe virus, maybe parasite, maybe bacteria, and it has to produce the same type of antigens to create antibodies in the body. This is the homeopathic system of medicine where similia similibus curanter works. Then you know very well, you are all experienced homeopaths. I need not tell that Hahnemann's organon, aphorism 100 and 102. 100 says every epidemic is a new disease. See, epidemic means the epidemic previously, first we started epidemic, cholera, then encephalitis, then fevers, then what you call chikungunya, then happened recently COVID-19. So every epidemic is a new one. Every study for epidemic is a new one. So that means if we scientifically go, every investigation that we will carry out will be a new one. It takes at least 1 month to do the investigation, at least 1 month to 3 months to get the samples and to test and to declare a genus epidemicus. In the same fashion, for allopathic doctors, it takes 2 years to study the vaccination effect, to control, to prevent. But here, homeopathic speciality is it works like vaccine, but it is a medicine. It controls the disease up to 80%. And at the same time, to cure the disease, if it becomes chronic, it needs various medicines and the patient need hospitalization. But we can avert the deaths. Some of the deaths, whatever may be the vaccination that is present, whatever may be the medical care that is present, whether it is homeopathy, Ayurveda, Unani, or the modern system of medicine, death is going to happen in some of the epidemic cases where we will discuss it whenever the epidemic comes and whatever the intensity of the epidemic, it is not covered or we will take much time about that. It is not covered in our topic, the genus epidemicus. Number 101 aphorism says, gather many cases to determine general characters. So we have to gather various cases. That means the epidemic has to spread. Suppose if you are in a city, if you are in Calicut, or if you are in Calcutta, or if you are in a city, or if you are in a small village, gather many cases to determine general character. The 101 aphorism says, see, the modern technology also says the same thing. See, to test the vaccination, it takes 2 years. How to gather these cases? That means people have to be affected. Suppose if the 100 cases or 1000 cases are present, how the 1000 cases will come to us? This is not practical. There are various physicians practicing homeopathy, various physicians practicing other system of medicine. So how to gather the cases? We have to go for door-to-door study to see the disease. We have to note down whether the epidemic is present. Then we have to gather the blood samples. I am talking about the modern science that is applicable to homeopathy. Then we have to study for cytokines. Then we have to test our medicine and we have to see that how the cytokines reaction is present and what are these our medicines that are producing anti-cytokinic or pro-cytokinic, because the cytokines are in two ways, anti-inflammatory, pro-inflammatory. The immunomodulation takes place only in cytokines. So we have to study in the lab. That takes around 3 days to 1 week. So after studying, we will come out with one potency. So selecting genus epidemicus also takes around 1 month time. In the same fashion, for them producing a vaccine also takes years together, because they have to say whether it is live vaccine, dead vaccine, it has to produce the symptoms, it has to be stored, it has to be exported. So there will be many chemicals that are mixed. Around 46 chemicals have to be mixed to see that the vaccination should be active. So in the same fashion, here also to select a genus epidemicus according to 101 aphorism, gathering many cases and constructed totality of symptoms. This can be done in 1 day. And picture and select one remedy. Once we select, this is the concept that is mentioned in Organon of Medicine. If we really truly follow with 100 physicians together with us, and if we take a genus epidemicus or the case that is either COVID-19 or encephalitis or cholera, and if the case recording has been given to 100 people, means the selection of the symptom selection will be very easy. What we have to do before the selecting genus epidemicus, I will tell you one of the history what happened. See, one from Bombay says camphor is the genus epidemicus. One from Delhi says that arsenic album is genus epidemicus. One from somewhere says Rastax is genus epidemicus. Upatorium perfoliatum is genus epidemicus. Hyoscyamus is genus epidemicus. See, Aspidospermia is genus epidemicus for COVID. Blata orientalis. They sold lakhs of rupees of medicines under the name of genus epidemicus, and they give WhatsApp message. The layman will purchase all those things. It is not like that. The government has to come together. There are government bodies. There are government institutions. They have to call all the doctors, around 100 physicians at 4 to 5 centers, and they have to give 2-3 cases. Then they have to analyze these one case, 100 doctors, and 100 physicians together, they have to determine the general characters, the construct, the symptoms, then drug picture, then select one remedy, so that the duty of the physicians is over. Then it has to be given to the scientists. By that time, the epidemic that is present, what are the symptoms, what is the pathology will be understood, and in the same fashion, the scientist can work out again is the pathology that has taken place in the disease. Then we can find out a medicine basing upon the experience of the, if we take 4 regions, south, north, east, west, then if they are 4 medicines or 1 medicine or 3 medicines or 2 medicines, we can test them in the laboratory. As the medicines increase, our time will increase. So this is the way of selecting the genus epidemicus in modern days. In previous good olden days, it is the taking organon of medicine, taking our own case record, and accepting all those people from all the ways of all the regions of our country, but that is not being followed. Somebody talks something, so there the homeopathy value in the society is coming down, though it is highly scientific in controlling the genus epidemics. Then Hahnemann also talked in 241, 242, 243, and 244 aphorisms about the fever, about the fevers that are going to come recurrently in one of the patients. So that is the problem in those days, that is the problem in these days also. The medical history has been forgotten. For every year somebody says that there is some fever is coming, some epidemic fever is coming, some type of cold is coming, some type of flu is coming. This flu runs for 5 days, 6 days. No, these were already noted in our organon of medicine. He talked exclusively from 242 to 244 aphorism about controlling recurring fevers in some of the particular patients, and some of the particular patients becoming victims of recurring fevers despite he has been cured by the disease, and again he is getting. This theory is also nowadays applicable, but unfortunately the modern medicine people, they never acknowledge the scientific ability of homeopathy that has been written in Organon of Medicine by Hahnemann. Now, what happens here when we are talking about 102, 101? I will come to this slide later. This also. Aphorism number 101. What he says in aphorism 101, it may easily happen that the first case of an epidemic disease that presents itself to the physician's notice, he does not at once obtain a knowledge of its complete picture, as it is only by a close observation of several cases of every such collective disease that he can become conversant with the totality of its signs and symptoms. The careful observing physician can, however, from the examination of even the first and second patients, often arrives so nearly at a knowledge of true state as to have in his mind the characteristic portrait of it, and even to succeed in finding the suitable homeopathically adapted remedy for it. In this aphorism, he has clearly mentioned about the scientific ability of the modern approach to the medicine. It seems that we are one country. Our theory is not like vaccination. The vaccination will be universal. It is like blood group, it affects the immunomodulation. But a country like India or a continent like South Africa, the disease modalities will be entirely different, whether it is chronic, epidemic, endemic, pandemic. So, like, let us take you have the fresh knowledge and memory of COVID. So, the COVID always affects. And COVID, when affected, the death rate was 1% to 2%. When it was very high, the death rate was 2%. 2% in Indian population means if you take 1,000 people, 20. If you take 100 people, 2 persons. So 2 persons death in out of 100 people means it is too much for a country like India. The same thing happened in America. So they were scared. The same thing happened in France, UK, and Germany. So they were scared because their population is very less. But for India and China population, 20 deaths, 200 deaths, 5,000 deaths, 10,000 deaths makes no difference. Whereas in the third episode, the death rate has fallen down because the medicines approach and the government has taken total control of COVID-19. They never allowed any other person to treat. At the same time, in government hospitals, they encouraged to distribute the homeopathic medicine, the Ayurveda medicine, and the Siddha medicine, where the Siddha medicine, Kapala Kudinir, the person who invented it, and the person who utilized, who identified it, got the Padma Shri Award. In the same fashion, the genus epidemicus, the cholera in Calcutta also got the same things of the disease like that, and he got very good name in the pages of the history. So here, sometimes what happens, the genus epidemicus may change according to the regions also, because we have that liberty. We cannot produce a vaccine like thing like blood groups, but the immunomodulation will be different from place to place. The healthy atmosphere will be entirely different. Non-healthy atmosphere will be entirely different. The epidemics, see in Gorakhpur, every year the epidemic of encephalitis is happening every winter, and government is not in a position to control. But at the same time, the same type of epidemic is not coming nearby places like Lucknow or Calcutta or some what you call any place of the Uttar Pradesh or in New Delhi. So this has to be particularly studied, and there the genus epidemicus may change. So this has to be tried whenever the disease comes. And methodology of the remedy selection: collect case histories, extract peculiar common symptoms, construct symptoms of totality, repertorization, and best matching remedy. Genus epidemicus in homeopathy is epidemic cases, totality of symptoms, and remedy selection. Collect detailed case histories, exact common peculiar and characteristic symptoms, construct the epidemic's totality symptoms, and select the remedy with maximum and minimum similarity proven clinical efficacy. And this is another picture. Homeopathic medicine selected to treat most cases in epidemic based on common symptoms. Mass applicability, cost effectiveness, and preventive and curative aspect. Selection process, as I told, and historical examples. Cholera in 1831, camphor was the medicine. Influenza in 1918, gelseminum was medicine. Dengue in 2003, Upatorium perfoliatum was medicine. COVID-19 in 2020, arsenic album was medicine. Before this, for encephalitis, in 1978-79, belladonna was the medicine. This was not noted in the histories of homeopathy also, and that was not given a special attention. And scientific rationale. What is the scientificality behind? See, everybody selects on basing upon the totality of the symptoms as told in FRE number 100. But homeopathy principles here means modern science. Law of similars means homeostasis. This means finding out the similia similibus curanter, which is hormesis means a autoimmunological mechanism that has to be understood. Individualization means epigenetics. If you read what is this, if you open what is epigenetics, you will understand. Vital force means systems biology. Repeated symptom means cytokines release. So these are the, see, when we do research, we will find out the like this, and we will separate, we classify in this way, and we will try to find out the genus epidemicus. Then clinical application: COVID-19, arsenic 30, CCRA. Dengue, Upatorium perfoliatum, this is also CCRA. Chikungunya rastax, this is also swine flu, influenza. These were produced by CCRH. And examples effect: arsenic of what it will do, interleukin 6. This is an anti-inflammatory cytokine. There are two varieties of cytokines. anti-inflammatory, pro-inflammatory. So when we give medicine, it has to reduce the pro-inflammatory, it has to increase the anti-inflammatory cytokines. So when it increases the anti-inflammatory cytokine, the arsenic album was prescribed. Then Rastax was given when the anti-inflammatory TNF, tumor necrotic factor alpha, has come down. And in bryonia, interleukin 1 beta has come down. These were the studies have been made. When they came down, the naturally the particular epidemic that was producing the symptoms will come down and patient has improved. So no vaccination is required. No more question of highly expensive medicines are required. By the time they find out the vaccination, the time will go away, patients will die. So finding out a genus epidemicus is very cost effective and very highly scientific. And here is immunomodulation scientific. We will see anti-inflammatory response. How the immune regulation will take place is anti-inflammatory regular T cells targets IL-10, TGF-B produce. See, when we did our research with belladonna, when we did our research with Rastax, when we did our research with arsenic album, I did my research with all these medicines, which can be gelsemium. So resolution to inflammation, when we did in Jipmer in the laboratory, we found out resolution of inflammation, resolvents, protokines involved, guides tissue back in health, neuroimmune normalization. Neuroimmune means, see, usually what happens whenever epidemics comes, now COVID-19 was pandemic because the total world has been affected. Most of the people were carrying the patients with mask, without mask, but everybody never became the patient of COVID-19. Why everybody never became? Why few only became? Why out of that few only died? The reason is psychoneuroimmunity. What is this neurological immune mechanism? It is by mind, it is by autosuggestions, it is by consciousness, and it is by body immunology, where he is having enough immune response to particular virus or to particular bacteria or particular parasites. So he never developed the disease. That is known as neuroimmune normalization. Whether he is becoming the neuroimmune normalized or non-shiftive signals reduced, physiological state of stabilization. So we have to take a produce from anti-inflammatory response activation to physiological state of stabilization. And by that, the end is he will develop total cure. So this is the way of action. See, what are the before that I have not shown, I passed away this. See, when we selected belladonna for encephalitis, what happens? Belladonna, this is the plant that gives acetylcholine. The acetylcholine will control the inflammation. And in that, the G protein and NFKB will come. See, what is G protein, what is ML? The NFKB pathways are signaling cascade, crucial for regulating various cellular processes, including the immune response and inflammation in T cells. It involves family transcription factors, NFKB, which are normally sequenced. And these all are immunological words. As a general physician, you need not work on that. But as a scientist, it becomes my primary responsibility that what happens when it produces, what are these things. See, here I gave the belladonna pathways. In the context of IKBS typically refers to IKK complex. IKK complex is a key enzyme. So these are the essential pathways. These pathways are regulating various cellular processes. See, one by one, the methodology, the action of the medicine. Everybody says the homeopathy don't have mechanism of action of medicine. Nobody knows. But as a scientist, we know very well where the homeopathy medicines will work, which pathway they go, where they will end up their action. After that ending of the action, which medicine has to be given and which will cure the disease, which will suppress the disease, where the disease can be managed, So this is I am talking about endemic. So you will develop the curiosity if you know so much of the science how to cure cancer. In cancer, as mentioned in our organ of medicine, his concept, his disease classification of Hahnemann, whatever we may praise, actually he has to be given Nobel Prize for his concepts. But nobody, our homeopathic doctors are not united. They never think. They are very busy with their practice. So they never think of the science. So when it comes to cancer stages, it will come as a one-sided disorder. It is multimasomatic. It is not curable. So he says how to palliate. How to palliate also we understood. Where which by which medicine it will be palliated, where the lifespan we can be increased. These are the some of the studies which we did. And this is what belladonna action. Now, then these all steps you have seen. This is the and come to immunological mechanism. I told interleukin 6, TNF alpha, IL interleukin beta 1 has to be changed, and this is the immune regulation that will take. This is known as hemostasis. Hemostasis is represented like homeopathy, and it is from anti-inflammatory condition to psychoneuroimmunity has to be produced. Till that time, the blood test can be continued, and we can show the efficacy of all the medicines that are selected for genus epidemicus. We have a bunch of group of medicines for anti-inflammatory activity. If we can do the cytokines action before itself, we can apply those medicines basing upon that particular scientific theory. Now comes to the potency problem. What is the potency problem is, see, somebody uses the higher dilution, somebody uses the lower potencies, but actually we need not enter into controversy. Homeopathy needs, the seat of homeopathy total in the world is India. The Indian homeopaths are everybody is a Kent, everybody is herrings. And so you need not depend on any foreign. They have to learn from us. We need not learn now any more homeopathy. The teacher Hahnemann is no more. And every homeopath in India is a Hahnemann. So kindly keep in your mind that it is the Indian government and the societies like you people have to take up the force on the Indian government. Now India has to supply homeopathy and India has to spread homeopathy throughout the world. It is we are not connected with government of America or government of UK or government of Germany or government of France. Our government has recognized our system. The WHO has warned. WHO has not accepted the system. But what are the credentials of WHO also has to be questioned as a scientist. So their tendency will change according to the need. They are highly studied people who knows everything about the medicine or the disease condition. They take the data, but they are not the physicians or the scientists. They are doing any research on particular disease. They will find out the way, tell the solution to the world. If they accept homeopathy, if they won't accept homeopathy, it won't bother the Indian doctors. In India, it is accepted, and it is our duty to do the research in homeopathy and tell to the people of the world that homeopathy is a scientific system of medicine. We also should stop competing with modern system of doctors, scolding the modern systems of doctors, criticizing the modern system of doctors. See, their weakness never becomes our strength. We have to build up our strength. Particularly, we have a very good opportunity in the selection of the genus epidemicus, and we can take our scientific science and our scientific concept into the people through the way of genus epidemicus. See, limitations and gaps. No larger random controlled RCTs trials. Why this is not possible? The COVID-19, the government has taken responsibility. They haven't given the serum to others. They never believed homeopathic doctors. So we were not in a position to do any experiments on the particular drug because the government has taken control. So whoever came to our government hospitals, we started giving them medicine. Once we give them medicine, it has found to be effective. Then after 6 months, when the COVID period is over, when the government has relaxed the rules, then we tested what are the blood samples that have shown whoever survived. Then we found out that the IL-6 came down in arsenic album. Variable data across the epidemics. Some epidemic will come, it will spread from place to place. We have to collect the various data, and placebo effect need blinding. What we have to do is we have to take at least 9 cases. We have to give placebo and give medicine. We have to see that those 9 cases to be admitted in hospital. We have to treat them within 3 to 4 days. We have to test their blood samples, and we have to come to a conclusion of the genus epidemicus within a month of its effective, within the duration of 1 month. So this has to be cautiously taken. This has to be carried out all over the country, and the government organization take a lead. But unfortunately, our government organizations which are providing the research, they are confused. They don't know what is the goal, what they have to do with homeopathy, and they are only worried that it is not recognized by WHO, not recognized by America, not recognized by UA. They are, no, we are, this system is recognized in India. Do research in India and produce and become an alternate system of medicine. Now, from time to time, you are seeing the criticism of homeopathy by allopathic doctors is coming down. The modern systems medicines doctors is coming down. And whoever is criticized, they were forced to tell sorry, or they are begging an excuse in public that these systems, enormous research has been carried out, and according to some of the recent studies, and according to it has been proved that homeopathy is totally scientific, and it is an accepted system of medicine. Without waiting for anybody, it is our duty to take up these things. So, genus epidemicus remains relevant even today. Number one, what is the conclusion out of our lecture? What is the take home message? This is genus epidemicus remains relevant even today. It is low cost, non toxic, and it can be deployed during the outbreaks. What we have to do? We have to see our anti inflammatory medicines. We have belladonna, we have aconite, arsenic album, rustax, gelsemium, Upatorium perfoliatum. We have to test our medicines and keep our laboratory like what allopathic doctors call them as vaccines. They cannot assume that this disease will come, but we can assume whatever the anti-inflammatory action of our medicines. And however, scientific research is essential for broader acceptance. Without science, nobody is going to accept our concepts. So we are ready to do the scientific research. Hope the God will give a better mind to our universities, our research institutes to plan, to think, because now the homeopathy must be saved by India and by Indians only, not by other countries. Whoever is having a foreign qualification, going there, these gurus giving lecture, all this will add money to them, not the knowledge. No science is present anywhere. They write essays, they never write articles. So kindly believe me, they never do any scientific investigation. They write review articles, whatever we write the article, a foreign country from Brazil or from Italy or from Switzerland or somebody will write a review article over my article and he will get good name. We have already have a tendency to salute whichever the government or wherever the American foreigners will accept, that only we will accept because of their richness. Now India is also becoming a rich country. Kindly go for research and save homeopathy in India. India is the only country where homeopathy PhD is present, and India is the only country where the homeopathic system is recognized by government of India. These are the books which I referred. This is CCRH Advisory, Hahnemann Organon, Homeopathy, and Nayak's book. And these are the graphical abstract of the remedy. And thank you very much. And I have given 10 minutes time today. So you can ask some questions if you have anything, or you can converse with me. You can discuss with me, and I am ready to be educated by people like you and experienced people like you. So thank you very much. And Ganesh sir, you might have left, and Swetaji, moderator, and thank you very much. And Pravesh sir, boliye sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, Ram Purvish, sir, he cannot open his mic, I think so.
Thank you, Dr. Sweta, and congratulations, Dr. M. Prakash Rao, sir. Very nice presentation, excellent session. Genus epidemic in homeopathy. Really, genus epidemic homeopathic remedy as a birth like vaccine and but medicine. Every homeopathic, any homeopathic medicine, gelsemium, epitorium, dysentery, typhoid, brania, inflammatory, and rastak. So very many thanks, sir. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, Prakash Rao, sir, for your valuable time and for your interesting session.
Hello, yes, madam.
And doctors, now if you are having anything to share
Yes,
or if
sir.
you are having any doubts, you can turn on your mic and you can ask, or else you can write it in the chat box.
Yes, Prakash Rao, sir, it's really a rocking day for us because you really show the beauty of homeopathy and how important this genus epidemic is as far as homeopathy is concerned. And we all know that this medicine, usually people believe that the vaccine is the only solution for prevention of diseases. But we all know that at the time of COVID as well as at the time of chikungunya, homeopathic doctors have done wonders with that. And all in all, we know that when the COVID was established around the world, there was people was running for vaccine. But at the first phase of the session, the people from Gulf, it was affected in Gulf before in the Indian people. So at the time of COVID, the people there in Gulf used to take the homeopathic medicine, arsenic amalgam, and it was really a big hit there, and that really prevented a lot of people from this COVID situation. And there is a person who was there in his audio clip was released from Gulf, and it was well shared by people around Kerala. And most of the people took homeopathic medicine, arsenic amalgam in Kerala. So, as we all know that the Kerala is the place where all diseases are coming at first, and then only it migrates to other part because Kerala people are all over the world and having business or jobs, and they may get this disease as first person. And what happened was that in the first phase of COVID, the number of patients who affected COVID was less compared to the second phase after vaccination. And once the vaccination came, people ran away from homeopathy and they shift to the so-called vaccination. And what we observed was that once the vaccination has started, most of the people who took vaccination has come out with fever, and when they were tested, it was found that all of them were tested positive with COVID, and they really distributed the COVID to people around them or in the families around them. And as a result, when people observed that in a big way, then it was called as the first wave of COVID. And that in that time, there was a lot of admissions and the number of patients increased, number of admission increased, and number of death increased. That is what happened in the first vaccination after. And after some time, they were come out with the second dose of vaccine, booster dose, and the same thing happened. Those who took the vaccination has found that the number of people get more COVID, and the number of admission in the hospital increased, and number of death also increased. And this is what happened with the second, and then they call it as a second wave of COVID. So these COVID waves were really artificially produced because of vaccination. But the homeopathic medicine given as a prophylactic, or what we can call as genus epidemicus, was selected according by the CCRH. But there are different of opinion among doctors from different part of India, particularly those in Chile area says that some Chile medicine is good, but those in south come up with the brownie and like that is good because it is very hot here at the time. But all in all, when we when we select a medicine in general, then it is declared as arsenic album to be given to all. And the result was fantastic. The CCRH really published the result, and with the 99.6% or something was the success rate after giving COVID vaccination. And now this arsenic album 30 as a preventive or as the genus epidemics for that. So choosing the genus epidemics become a very important factor. But though, who is the person to choose the medicine? But as you rightly pointed out, all of us can select as per the data collected from the people around the area. But in a country like India, it's a big nation, and the different categories of people living in different climate situations. So sometimes it may be a different medicine, sir. What's your opinion on all this, sir? What's your opinion on my comment here, sir?
Thank you, thank you. You rightly told, sir. We need a country like India needs. We have a chance and opportunity to take up genus epidemicus, whereas I compared the vaccination don't have any opportunity. That's why the vaccination efficacy rate, if we compare, we need not compare the genus epidemicus with vaccination. But in layman's mind, they never understand what is genus epidemicus, what is vaccination. They want the control. That's why the vaccination control is also differs from area to area. See, to remove the poliomyelitis from India, it took around 21 years. In Pakistan, same measures have been followed despite their cultural resistance. But so far, the poliomyelitis has not been controlled. But in Bangladesh and in Sri Lanka, they don't have any cultural resistance. There also, it has not been controlled. It is not the measures that we will take. The government is taking appropriate measures. But the region and the immunological modulation, they are different from reacting to poliomyelitis in India, in Bangladesh, in India, in Sri Lanka, and in India and Nepal. So these studies are not possible in vaccination. But whereas in genus epidemicus, we can be different in medicines. We see always the people are going with one mind that why should not be a one medicine? Who has to fix one medicine? Because the regions, the temperament, the reaction of the particular society to the immunity is entirely different. So the genus epidemicus can be different, and they have to be supplemented by studies, scientific studies, and those scientific studies are not available. And it is the government research organizations and the university which is implementing the curriculum of homeopathy. They can take up their research in their own area and they can select the particular genus epidemicus and they can give, and it is totally not unscientific. If we compare with vaccination, it may look unscientific, but vaccination itself is little unscientific when its efficacy rate comes, when its anaphylactic reaction comes. Its anaphylactic reaction is more in South African countries. See, many people will die. More Americans will react with the vaccination. More Indian
Okay, sir.
response to vaccination.
Sir, Taciturn, Dr. Taciturn Ilari want to speak to you.
Yeah.
Then you can answer. Yes, Dr. Taciturn.
Please.
Thank you very much for very clear presentation about the subject, Mr. Prakash. I have a question. This is not maybe real epidemics, but a social epidemics. Especially young people have screen addiction, mobile or game addiction. Can we think a genus epidemics for this social epidemics? What is your thinking?
Sir, we can
Thank you.
your question is wonderful, sir. That became a social epidemic. That is became a social pandemic also, not only epidemic. We definitely can think on genus epidemicus lines, the medicine that will change their behavioral attitude. And there are various medicine, need not be one medicine, but we can come out with a group of medicines around 4 to 5, and definitely we can control, we can antidote, we can make the people to realize, and that possibility is present. Now you are exactly right. Particularly in Malaysia, this is a problem from last 1981 when the drug addiction is became very common, and we can do that. And it is not only why I am telling the possibility is we can make the person to realize the socially realization. Apart from the counseling, all these things, there will be a medicinal action in his mind where it will work again is the opioids, and it will work out, and that is possible. You have given me a wonderful clue. Next time I will do this. I will try to present my lecture on this. I definitely will. You have to give me 1 month time, sir. Then only I can do that, particularly in drug de-addiction. And let us try. You have given me a wonderful clue. I have facilities by the grace of the God
Yes, sir.
to come out with successful outcomes.
Yes,
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Yes, Dr. Seda.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for all of you for participating in this session. And thank you, Dr. Prakash Rao, sir, for your wonderful session and for your valuable times. Okay, thank you all. And now I'm handing over the session to the next session.
This time I learned
there is
a good thing from Dr. Taciturn Ilari. Sir, you have given me wonderful idea for taking up research. Sir, thank you very much to you. You need
Okay, sir.
I am thanking you for giving me this idea. Let us carry research from tomorrow itself. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Then there is an announcement for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have a session from Dr. Maria Salcedo Rios from Bolivia. And Doctor will be talking about varicose ulcer and intercurrent disease analysis. With that, we come to the end of the day, 1769. It's over to Dr. P. Shaila to moderate the Malayalam session.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Dr. Ilari. Dr. Pravesh Sasab, Namaskar. Santaji, Dr. Shaila, all Dhanas sir and Kavita, everybody, thank you very much. I am leaving. Thank you very much.